All right. Shalom, shalom. Like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Qadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwap that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. Brother Shawab, I'm one back at you with another lesson. As always, we come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of America, which is known as Babylon the Great. All right. And we come out here to preach the downfall of the so-called white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. Also known as Esau in the scriptures. Salvation is preached unto you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right. It's now high time to awake out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer than we believe. All right. And we're living in beautiful times right now. All right. This is a beautiful time to be alive. All right. Because this kingdom, all right, Babylon the Great is about to fall. Okay. And we are going to be witnesses onto this place being destroyed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. See, our Lord is coming back to set righteousness upon the earth. He's coming to take out all this wickedness that's been, put out in as a vibration on the earth, all right, for many generations. Okay, and the Lord is coming to cut off a long disease, all right. And today, the one that today is the king, tomorrow he shall die, as the scriptures say. All right. So, basically going into the title, okay, we have in this scriptures, all right, there is beautiful things written in these scriptures, okay? There's beautiful things coming to the nation of Israel, all right? But before these things come about, all right, there's going to be a lot of death, destruction, all right? Great hell is coming to this place, all right? And that's why in the scriptures it tells you there's nothing but written in the book, Lamentations, Mournings, and Woes, okay? And that's nothing that's nothing that sounds happy, man. That's nothing that sounds joyful, okay? Because right now, being here in Babylon the Great, we are in total chaos. We are in total hell out here, man. Our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are catching nothing but pure hell out here, okay? Even these 2/3, man, that they ain't gonna make it into the kingdom, all right? They going through hell too, but they don't even realize it. They actually love the hell that they go through, you see, because they have made covenants with death at the end of the day. All right. So they're in agreement with death and hell, as the scriptures say. All right. But let me open this up with Ezekiel 2:9. And it says, and I'll take it actually from 6. And it says, thou son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou does well among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Yeah, because when we come out in these highways and hedges, right, you got people that will constantly look at us like we some weirdos, man. Here it is, we're preaching your actual salvation, giving you hope. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, brother? What's going on? You see yourself on here, bro? ¿Qué tú eres, mexicano? Guatemala. Guatemala, mira. ¿Qué? ¿Qué? Tú eres el tribu yo soy de Nicaragua. Nicaragua, habla español. Ajá. No, nosotros somos la isla de la Biblia, los 12 tribus. Los 12 apóstoles. Tú vienes, no los apóstoles, los tribus, los tribes. You understand English too? No. Yo sí, pero nosotros venimos de Zebulón, ¿entiendes? Y ahora mismo estamos en los tiempos finales, papá. Tú puedes ver que esto es lo que está pasando por todo el mundo ahora mismo, ¿entiendes? Mira, tú tienes YouTube. Sí, yo tengo YouTube. Te voy a dar algo alguien que tú puedes. Ellos hablan lo mismo lo que yo estoy hablando en español, pero ellos lo hacen más mejor porque yo hablo más en inglés, ¿me entiendes? So, yo te voy a dar. Un momentito, lo voy a traer ahora mismo. Pero estamos en los tiempos finales, papá, y quieres que aprender lo que está pasando. Y quieres que aprender. ¿Qué hablas? No, está bien. Thank you. Aquí está, mira.
I'm Roman Catholic. What I do is
Yeah, no, I'm good. I
okay,
don't
God
want
bless
that.
you for your day.
Y eso ahí, eso, la gente de los otros siempre tienen, triste y todo eso, eso no es bueno. Esta gente de la iglesia enseña a los otros cosas que no son buenos de la Biblia, ¿me entiendes? Porque el Dios de los otros te enseñó lo que tú tenías que hacer. Coge la foto, poncha eso, o lo puedes ponchar ahora mismo. Y tú ves, mira, ellos hablan en español, mira, tú ves como dice aquí. Lo hacen en inglés, entonces este tipo es mexicano, pero él te habla en español. Que ellos siempre están hablando todos los días, porque yo te lo puedo explicar, pero a veces con el español mío yo no sé, porque yo hablo más inglés, más so, yo te voy a mandar la gente que
5% de español. Sí, ¿no?
Okay, esta gente ellos hablan cada vez en español, so, el espíritu está a ellos, con ellos para hablar más en español.
Ya se cuida, gracias.
Sí, pero uno más. Puede ponerle
Ya que yo
ellos hablan en español también. So, los dos, Maca, ponle eso adentro en YouTube y va a salir el canal, todo, y ellos te van a enseñar. Porque el nombre del padre es Yahawah. Nosotros somos hebreos de antes, pero porque nosotros estaban clavados, clavados y cosas así. Nosotros, le dieron los otros nombres en español, porque tú tenías la gente que eran de España en esos tiempos que los tenían clavados los otros. Nosotros tenemos nombres que son en español. Y, si tú hablas en español, eso no es tu heritage. Nosotros somos hebreos, ¿entiendes? Hebrews. So, aprende con ellos, ¿entiendes? Okay. Hablamos. All right. Salakia. I had to, bring the brother out gave him a couple channels in Spanish, because I do everything in English. I can speak Spanish with him, but I'd rather somebody that's been doing it more in Spanish go, hopefully the spirit be with him. How about Shimmy, how Lord willing, open his eyes to what the truth is, because he seemed like he was, like he wanted to learn something. I was telling him, we in those last days, bro, we got to turn back to our power. You know what I'm saying? He said it does feel like them last days, So our people know what's going on, man. All right. And it's in the spirit. That's what it is. These things are happening and people fulfill it, man. Tensions are rising up out here. Okay. So at the end of the day, all right, going back to what I was bringing out, you see, nothing in these scriptures is as peaceful as they think. You see, a lot of people think that, you just look, and then you got this lady. She just came over here with a whole bag of crosses, talking about she Roman Catholic. Man, that's just spiritual. See, still trying to draw him in as he walking away after he just got this, a little bit of the word. They trying to draw him in to end up carrying a cross, man. You see, that's what these devils and these demons do, man. They have brainwashed our people with these churches. Okay, the scriptures tell you what. All right, the scriptures tell you that how be it that the Most High don't dwell in temples built with hands. So how you gonna find the truth in these churches, man? These churches are actual harlot houses, man. All right, when you go into the word religion, it goes into the Greek word religio, which means to bind or oppressors, man. So all these things have our people, all right, oppressed and bind into a truth, not even a truth, but into a philosophy, All right, that's not the actual truth, man. And our people, like I said, when you go down these shops, all right, all you see is constant shops of, Guadalupe's out here. You got people that have the Virgin Marys in their little shops trying to sell them to you. They got a bunch of crosses with Jeebus on it, with your white Jesus. Okay, all that shit is bullshit, man. The scriptures reveal to you what our power looked like, what our power was. Okay, here it is. They want you to believe in Jesus, but Yahawashi, all right, which that's what his true name is, all right, what the world ignorantly calls him Jesus, all right. He was a whole Hebrew. So why would he have a why would he have a Greek name at the end of the day? And the scriptures tell you that the Lord changed not. Okay, it says Yahawashi yesterday, Yahawashi today, Yahawashi tomorrow. So that means that the Lord won't ever change, man. So why would he have Hebrew, speak Hebrew, right? Have a Hebrew name, and then all of a sudden he wants to come back and he wants to change it to Greek. You see, that's wicked as hell, man. And it's because of the strongholds on our people. You see, you have to understand, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but they are spiritual. You see, so it breaks down the strongholds when you have the word of Yahawashi, which is the sword. You see, the scriptures say that the truth shall set you free. You see, so until our people not woke, right? Our people not woke until they actually know who their enemy is, who they are. Okay, the prophecies that's about to come. Who salvation is for. People claim to be woke out here, man, but they're not. Shalom, sister Yahweh. These people claim to be woke. They think because they got their eyes open and they woke up out of their sleep, so that they think they're awake. You see, you're not awake, man. All our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are in sleep right now, man. As a matter of fact, let me grab that before I go back to the precept I just had. This is Romans 11, and I'll take Romans 11:7, and it says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election has obtained it, and the rest were blinded." All right, so these people are blinded, all right, by the darkness of Esau. Okay, you see, the election has obtained it because the Lord said to the disciples, what did the disciples say? Why do they speak to us in parables, right? He said, because it is given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it's not given. You see? So the Lord has bestowed this faith upon us, man, this truth, all right, because we were predestinated from the beginning to turn back to the word. You see? We had to be wicked first, man, for us to actually receive this righteousness, because it's a perfect balance. You see? We have to be wicked. So when we got this righteousness and our eyes were open and we were set free from these things, all right, we can now actually, hold on to it, as the scriptures say. Hold that fast that thou hast, that no man that no man snatch your crown. You see? So we have to be wicked as hell, all right, for us to learn how wicked we were, for us to actually turn back to righteousness and not want to do these things again. You see? And then as you continue to keep meditating in the word, as the scriptures say, all right, you basically get the secrets of Yahawashi, especially the prophets. See, and then the prophets come out here and they preach the word unto you and open your eyes to these things. As the scriptures say, the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets to the servants, the prophets. You see? So again, it says, "But then Israel has not obtained what they seek, which they seek it for." All right, and see that our people have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge, as the scriptures say. So our people right now, believe it or not, they're actually searching for the truth. But because there's so many different religions and there's so many different philosophies out in the world, man, that's basically just Satan sifting you away at all times. As fast as you hear this word, is as fast as he takes it away from you. See, so the strongholds of this world is right now stronger, okay? Because we're filled with nothing but evil around us, you see? But when you start to open your mind, now that darkness doesn't overcome you, you see? Because the darkness can't comprehend the light. Once you have the light, which is Yahawashi, man, now your eyes are fully open, okay? Now you have that eye salve that's open, all right? So continuing on, it says, What then? Israel has not obtained that which they seek it for, but the election has obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Okay, let's grab this real quick. This is, matter of fact, let me grab my phone. So I start grabbing precepts. This is 2 Corinthians. One second. 2 Corinthians 4:3. And it says, I'll take it from the top. It says, therefore, seeing we have this ministry, all right, we have this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right. The Lord said that you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. You see? So the Lord came to us with this truth, man. We was all in darkness, just like these people walking around, man. We was all doing wickedness, just like the rest of these people. All right. But the Lord has ordained us to become prophets. All right. He knew that we would be prophets. All right. From the womb. All right. Being predestinated with this. It says, therefore, seeing we have this ministry as we have received mercy. See, we have received mercy from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai by us actually having this truth. You see, because now we have a chance of salvation. Okay. It says, we faint not, but have renounced the hidden things. Yeah, the hidden things. Why? Because scriptures tell you, and this is 2nd Ezra's. This is 2nd Ezra 6:27. All right. And it says, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. All right. Yeah, we've been deceived on a constant basis. All right. Because the so-called white man was the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's what his job was to do, man. See, that's physical counter Satan, man. Satan means your adversary. So he's against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. He's a total anti-Hamashiach, anti-Christ. You see? So the first thing that he did, especially when he came back into rulership after the Romans were taken down and they were shut down for a whole 1,000 years. All right, they came back into power because the Lord prophesied that that would happen. And the first thing they did was what? In the Renaissance era, which means rebirth, is that they went to deceive all the nations again by whitewashing, all right, all the images, by covering the faces of the judges. As it tells you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, you see? So when he gave them back that power, which it came from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, giving them back that power, all right, taking the bases of men and setting them back up in power, all right, the first thing that they did was deceive our people, and that's what he's always done, going all the way back to the garden, all right? The serpent was a sly, treacherous man, and all he did was speak cunning words, cunning things. Cunning words is basically deceitfulness, you see? So this is why you have to stay prayed up at all times, because the adversary, the devil, seeks who he may devour. All right, with what? With deceitfulness. All right. So it says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish." Yeah, because eventually, once those that are woken up of the elect, faith is going to flourish upon the whole entire earth. You see, evil is going to be put out. Okay, and even the man of sin, all right, the mystery of iniquity, he's going to be put out also. So if he gets put out, which he's the one that created all this chaos, right, all this confusion, all right, and you take him out the picture, well, then now the earth can learn about Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and righteousness and sincerity and truth, you see. So it says, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which has been so long without fruit, yeah, it's been so long without fruit, meaning it's been hidden. You see, this truth has been hidden for us for a long time, okay? Because you had this devil that basically deceived us, beat it out of us, you know, to make us worship, you know, Jesus, okay, and all these different religions, you see, all these different captivities that we were put into, all right? These devils had us always worshiping their gods, not understanding that we had an actual God ourselves, a true power, a creator of all these things. You see, even the Lord himself created every single one of these false religions, these gods that you see out here made out of wood, statues, you know, made out of gold, silver, stone. Okay. Matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon. I believe it's let's say the 11th chapter. Might be the 13th. Yeah, this is Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. It says, surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and cannot out of the goods. Salakia. I gotta watch this shit'll blow away till it's windy today. Right? It says, and could not out of the good things that were seen know him that is, neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master. You see, they never actually considered Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the creator of all things. Okay? That shit runs over their head, man, because Esau got you blinded thinking that he the creator of all things. What is bullshit science, you know, pseudoscience, okay? It says, but deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circles of the stars or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. You see, these people, the things that the Lord created, they never gave appreciation to, but they worship these things. You see, you have people that worship fire, people that worship the sun, you know, people that worship the clouds. Somebody might come and worship the trees. You see, they'll worship the earth. You even had our people that was following after those customs. You see, you had Northern Kingdom back in the times, right? When there was, you know, Indians, they was out there just worshiping the earth, everything in the earth. They were worshiping animals, you know. But who made these things? You see, they never acknowledged those things, right? So it says, with those beauties, if they've been delighted, took them to be gods. All right, Salakia, with those beauties, if they being delighted took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord Yahweh Shai of them is. For the first author of beauty, the first author of beauty has created them. You see? So the Lord is what created all these different gods, all right, on earth. Why? Because all these heathen nations, right, and all these other people that are not of the nation of Israel don't have a God. You see? The Lord only came for his people, man. All right? When the Lord, what he said, I will in Matthew the 1st chapter, all right? I will have that Mary will have a son, and his name was going to be what? Yahweh Shai, which means he is salvation, right? And it said that he will come to save his people from their sins. Okay? His people. The Lord said in Psalms 147 that he has declared his law, statutes, and commandments to the nation of Israel, that he has not dealt so with any other nation. You see? You got Isaiah 15:24. I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You see? So the Lord created, all right, these other gods for these other nations that don't actually have a power to turn to. That's why they try to brainwash you to worship, you know, stone, you know, wood, okay, all these different philosophies and animals, and you want to worship the sun and the moon, the stars, okay, because they have no knowledge. They have a zeal for God, all right, but not according to knowledge. All right, Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, the Lord is also going to reject them. And that's why these people are rejected today. Because they much rather believe in these gods, all right, that are nothing, you know, statues that don't speak back to you, okay? Holy shit. Statues that don't, you know, speak back to you, that can't see, that can't hear, all right? They're dumb and blinded, okay? As a matter of fact, you had that account with that you had the one account with the prophet. I forgot his name, can't register it right now, all right, but he was basically telling the people, where's your God? All right, is he on vacation? All right, is he asleep right now? All right, because the true God was only Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So he was making mockery of their gods, because their gods are what? They're deaf, they're blind. All right, there's no hope in those gods, man. The fact that you see these people actually go to a church and bow down to a whole statue and be sitting there talking to the statue is the most bugged out thing you can actually watch, man. You see? Because when we pray up to the sky, man. We turn toward the east and we pray to the sky because we know YAHAWAH'S is watching down on us. You see? We're not going to be caught up in an actual church, man, looking at a damn piece of stone that's just fucking sitting there with the same damn face Monday through Sunday, all right? And you expect it to come out of nowhere and start speaking to you, man. That's bugged out, all right? So let's go back to 2 Corinthians 4 and 2. All right, it says, therefore, Salakia 2, but we have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, all right, because everything was deceit, it was lies, nor walking in craftiness, all right, because that's what these devils do. They walk in craftiness. You see, when you go into that word craftiness, let's see what that word craftiness is, all right, which all that craftiness basically goes into what? You being under a stronghold, okay? It says panorubria. Right? It says craftiness, cunning, specious, or false wisdom. You see? In a good sense, prudence, skill, and undertaking and carrying on affairs. All right? But we know that's not what it is. It's a false wisdom. All right? When you go deeper into it, it says skillful and clever. Okay? In a bad sense, crafty, cunning, connivish, treacherous, deceitful. Okay, so if you don't have the spirit of YAHAWAH'S, all right, you'll be tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, as the scriptures tell you. And let me grab that real quick. All right, this is Ephesians. This is Ephesians 4 and 14, and it says that we hence, matter of fact, let me go up one. All right. It says till we all come into the unity of the faith. Okay. And that's what we're trying to do out here by coming on these highways and hedges daily as much as we can, putting out as many videos as we possibly can. All right. Because we're the stronghold of the vibration of wickedness is everywhere around you. So the only way we could defeat that is by speaking on the word of YAHAWAH'S, because this word is more powerful than the two-edged sword. Okay. It says, and of the knowledge of the Son of Yahweh, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. You see, as a matter of fact, when you go into that in the actual, let me grab that from the Amplified Bible. All right. This is Ephesians 4 and 14. All right. It sounds juicy in the Amplified Bible. All right. Hold on real quick. Let me switch the Bible real quick. It's the AMP. There you go. All right. When you read it in the Amplified Bible, right, it says, let's read that again. It says, until we all reach oneness in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of Yahweh, YAHWAH'S, right? It says, growing spiritually, in parentheses, to become a mature, believer. Satan over here tickling my throat. It says to become a mature believer, reach into the measure of the fullness of Hamashiach, manifesting his spiritual completeness, exercising our spiritual gifts in unity. And that's in parentheses, you see. Now it says 14, so that we are no longer children, again in parentheses, spiritually immature, tossed back and forth like ships on a stormy sea, and carried about with every wind of, again in parentheses, shifting doctrine. Okay, and you see that today, the shifting of different doctrines. Okay, the Lord is not the author of confusion, man. So he's not about to switch up things that were written already since the ancient times, right, till now. All right, he's gonna all of a sudden switch it up with a different shift. You see, and that's what religions were created for. religions were created to have these different shifts of the doctrine. All right. And this is why people are constantly confused. You know, you even seeing it with our people, all right, that claim to be Hebrew Israelites with all these different, you know, bugged out camps now. Okay. Which the Lord about to get rid of all them camps, man. I don't care what camp you're talking about. All right. All those camps is about to be done away with. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about no damn camp name. It ain't about none of that. All right. It ain't about who got the what camp has got the highest, you know, ranking right now. It's about YAHAWAH'S. You see? So it don't matter about it. No camp can save you. Okay. Only YAHAWAH'S can save you at the end of the day. So all that shit is about to be deaded real soon, man. Okay. So it says, so that we are no longer children, spiritually immature, tossed back and forth like ships on a stormy sea, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, of every shifting doctrine, by the cunningness and tricky of the unscrupulous men, by the deceitful scheming of people ready to do anything for personal profit. You see? And that's what all these religions are about, man. Personal profit among themselves, man. You know, something that could fit to their criteria. Okay? They try to fit it into their wickedness. Twist words around like they tried to twist YAHAWAH'S words around, all right, to fit their spectrum, man. You see? That, man, listen. It says, but speaking in the truth, in love, in all things. And it don't mean love, it's talking about peaceful things, man. All right? For the love of YAHWAH'S to what? Keep his law, statutes, and commandments. All right? To have faith in him. All right? That's what the true love of the Lord is. Okay? It says, in all things, both our speech and our lives expressing his truth, let us grow up in all things unto him, following his example, who is the head of Hamashiach. Okay? Now, let me change that real quick. All right, going back to the Bible, regular KJV. All right, let's go back to 2 Corinthians 4 and 2. But have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of Yahweh deceitfully. And you got a lot of people that are handling the word of YAHWAH deceitfully, man. It's a lot of shit, a lot of fuckery going around and closed doors, man, behind closed doors. Okay? Remember, our righteousness is filthy rags. There's a reason why the Lord said that, man. So even those that are walking with this truth, okay, there's a lot of bullshit going behind closed doors, man. That's why we got to examine ourselves daily. All right? It says, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of Yahweh deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of Yahweh. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, because the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not. You see, because it came down to you not actually believing in YAHWAH. You see, the topic is YAHWAH. It's always been YAHWAH, man. All right? You niggas is out here putting your trust in man, you know, putting your confidence in man. All right? When you're supposed to be putting your full confidence in YAHWAH, man. Okay? Now, has the Lord set up men to give you the truth? Absolutely. All right? He has to use a vessel to bring it out, right? But the thing is, see, once you learn the truth, all right, and you're weaned from the breast and from the milk, right? And then you start taking the depthness of the scriptures and you start taking in the meat, okay? Once you get that, you don't need nobody else to teach you, man, because the Lord is the one that's going to be guiding you. You see? Our job is to open your minds to the word of YAHWAH. Preach it correctly, and then once you're good enough to understand, you yourself have to examine yourself daily, and you yourself have to fight for your own salvation. I can't help you, okay? Nobody from a camp can help you, all right? Only YAHWAH can help you at the end of the day. You see? That's why I say all these camps is about to be done with real soon. You know why? Because when Jacob's trouble pops off, again, none of these camps is going to save you. Okay? It's going to be between you and YAHWAH. You see? You're going to have to remember everything that you learned through the Spirit. All right. The Lord said, howbeit when the Spirit of truth come upon you, right? He will guide you into all truth. Okay. You see? And it's going to come by the way of men. But you have to be, we grown ass people, man. You ain't got to be sitting there holding each other's hands all day long, man. A lot of you are still babies, man, being held by hand and can't figure it out by yourself. You see? So you fully don't have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Remember, it's all about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and nothing else. All right? So, continuing on, it says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the power of this world, all right, Esau, Edom, okay, all these different philosophies has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine onto them, all right? And the only way it can shine on them is if the Lord, all right, converts them, you see? So, matter of fact, let's continue to preach, right? It says, for we preach not ourselves, you see? It ain't coming from us, man, because we're preaching the books, the volume of the book to the people, man. So it's not of ourselves, man. You got a lot of people who pride, you know, telling you that you should only listen to, you know, certain people, okay? That's bugged out at the end of the day, man, because it's not about you. It's the Lord that's speaking through every person, you see? So it says, for we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, right? And ourselves, your servants for Yahweh Shai's sake. For Yahweh, who has commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahweh Shai and Mashiach. You see? But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh and not of us. You see, it ain't about none of us, man. It's about Yahweh Shai. And you just being used as an earthen vessel with a treasure that can be taken away from you at any given moment, man. The Lord said, if scripture say, if a man think himself to be someone, he deceiveth himself, man, but he is nothing. Okay? You just earth and ashes, man. The Lord will the Lord can take the spirit from you at any given moment if he wants, man. Just to set an example, you see? You can be replaced at any given moment, all right? That's why you have to stay prayed up. That's why you have to constantly keep running to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Stop putting your confidence in man, okay? When I come out here, I don't tell nobody to put their confidence in me, okay? I'm just here to deliver the message, you see? I ain't nobody. I ain't better than the 2/3 that's going to be destroyed. I ain't better than these wicked-ass niggas out here, okay? I'm just here with jewels that the Lord, has given me, and I'm very thankful for that, man. And I'm able to still continually give it to someone else, you see? And that's why we tell you, that's why the elders will tell you, what? Don't believe us. Go and look it up for yourself, man. You see? You have to be persuaded in your own mind at the end of the day, all right? You can't be persuaded by men. You got to be persuaded by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, okay? Now, through the fear of the Lord, we persuade men, okay? Because the Lord has to use an earthen vessel somehow, some way. We cannot talk to the Lord, okay? That's why he gave us this book. And Yahweh Shai is the book. He is the volume of the book. He is the mediator between us and Yahweh, you see? So, it says, but we have this treasure in the earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh and not of us. Okay? So let's go back to Slovakia. This was 2nd Ezra 6:27. And it says, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Okay? Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which has been so long without fruit, shall be declared. All right? So the truth is being declared right now. All right? The spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is on the earth. Okay? And how you going to be able to tell? You're going to be able to tell by their fruits who's the ones that's doing the work. All right. That's who the Lord, the ones that's constantly out there bringing out the word are the ones that the Lord is using their vessels, all right, their earthen vessels to speak through them, okay? As the scriptures say, as he spake through the holy prophets at the beginning of time, Luke 1:70. He spake through the mouth of the prophets, okay? When one went to inquire of the Lord, all right, they had to go to the seers for it, okay? But you can be a seer, all right, and be taken out of the way, man, real quick. You could be a brother that has this truth and you don't make it. See, that's the fear of the Lord. That's why you have to fear the Lord at all times, man, and have that mentality. The Lord can use you this whole time, bringing out the whole truth and everything. And at the end of the day, he just say, you know, I don't need him no more. And you don't make it, man. Now, are we going to have hopes? Yeah, we're prisoners of hope. Okay. But you got to remember these things and you got to register these things in your mind. That's what persuades you to continue to keep doing what you're supposed to do, man. That's what keeps you in the fear of the Lord. All right. So now let's go back to Romans 11, right? And 7, it says, what then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election has obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, Yahweh has given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day. And David says, let their table be made a snare. So you had King David, all right, that the Lord, all right, had him, he gonna be the top king, you see? So he had favor in David. Even David went off, right? And the Lord still had favor in him, you see? Because he constantly remembered what the mission was. It wasn't about him, it was about YAHAWAH'S, you know? So he prayed that YAHAWAH'S take not his Holy Spirit from him, you know? And the Lord found great favor in him, you see? Because he was always going to be used as a vessel. The spirit of the prophet is subject onto the prophets, man. Okay? So the Lord, right, allowed him to put curses upon these 2/3 for them not to understand the truth. Because they wanted to be niggas of the world, man. You see? And to this day, that snare is still lively, man. And these people walk around with their eyes shut, you see? With their ears closed. All right, when we preach the word, it goes through one ear and out the other. And a prime example would be when we're out here all the time on these highways and hedges, right? And you just see people walk right past you. You see, that's already showing you that their eyes are closed and their ears are shut. Because if they weren't, they will stop. All right. Oh, let me see what this person's about. You see what he talking about. But see, they'll stop for everything else. All right, but except the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay. Now let's grab 13, Romans 13 and 11. And it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Okay. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of the light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord YAHWAH'S Hamashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. All right, and most of these people are caught up in the flesh of these things. You see, they love the world, man. That's why they love each other. You see, the Lord told you not to love the world, man. Let's grab that real quick. This is lock it. 1 second. Damn, I lost my finger on that other one. I was on Ezekiel, though, I remember. This is lock it. That's right by. There you go. Right, this is 2 and 15, 1 John 2 and 15, and it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father." You see, because the things of the world is just filled with pride, man, and pride is when one depart from his Maker, man. You see, so the Lord ain't trying to see, he ain't trying to hear none of that. All right. He's not dealing with nobody that has pride, man. The Lord hates niggas that got pride. All right? Ecclesiasticus 10 and 7. Pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both does one committed iniquity. You see? So it's hateful before the eyes of the Lord. All right? And then it's hateful before man, too. Because someone that's unprideful, right? That's humble, when they see the pride in these people, man, it pisses them off. It irks their it irks them. It gets under their skin. You see? We all been around somebody that got some pride that it's just like, a lot of it you see like in your job. You know, there's always that one prideful ass nigga in your job that got you pissed off because you know, he just be talking the dumbest shit, the dumbest nonsense, and he don't be knowing nothing either. He be like the dumbest out of everybody, but he swear he knows something. That's great pride, man. The Lord said that that's when one departs from his Maker and commits sin. You see, that's why these people are a rebellious house. All right, and rebellion is considered as sin and witchcraft. You see, and what does witchcraft do? Okay, witchcraft is a bunch of confusion, and these people walk around in confusion on a daily basis, man. You see, they're very prideful that they won't even come up, all right, and hear the word of the Lord, but they'll listen to a nigga with a microphone talking Jeebus all day, all right, or talking, you know, Buddha, or talking Allah, okay, salute you and everything, right? So it says, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that do the will of Yahweh abideth forever." Okay, so the lust of the world, everything here is gonna pass away, man. All right, so why wouldn't you put your time into Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man? Especially in these last days, where all you constantly see is nothing but misery out here. Okay, everything around you is just pure wickedness. When you go to turn on your TV, all you see is satanic rituals all day long. You go to put on your music, you get a vibration, all right, that shit, whatever you listening to, whether it be you listening to somebody want to kill somebody, next thing you know, you got this anger in you, you want to go kill somebody, you know, it might be adultery music, and next thing you know, you out there trying to have sex with someone's wife, you know. You know, you turn on the TV on a Sunday, all you got is a bunch of channels flipping through with all these different religions, singing gospels, and people just like, yes, 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 because it sounds good, you know. Oh, peace, peace to the world. The Lord said, "I come not to bring peace, but a sword." Okay, I come not to bring peace, but a sword. A sword divides, it cuts. All right. Just like this word cuts to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, you see, down to the bone marrow, to the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the people. Okay, so it's the same thing. The Lord is coming to divide, all right, the sheep from the goats, man, the wicked from the righteous. The Lord is a perfect balance. Okay, let's grab that real quick. This is Ecclesiasticus 33. Ecclesiasticus 33 and this is 33 and 11. Matter of fact, I'll take it from I'm going to take it from 8. It says, by the knowledge of the Lord Yahawashi, they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. And some of them he made high days and hallowed them. And some of them he has made ordinary days. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth. And much knowledge the Lord Yahawashi has divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them has he blessed and exalted, and some of them has he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them has he cursed and brought low and turned out their places. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in his hand. So man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liketh him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. You see? One against another, man. Perfect balance. Okay? And how you going to be able to see who are the righteous, man? You're going to be able to tell by their fruits. All right? And even, all right, us being as righteous as we possibly can be, all right, we're not perfect. Our righteousness is filthy rags, man. See, this is why we need Yahawashi to get us the hell up out of here, man. Because we live in these vile-ass bodies. You see, these everlasting chains of darkness, you see, which was a curse onto us, all right, for being disobedient from the beginning. Okay? So now, continuing on, all right, let's go back to what I had earlier. All right, Ezekiel 2 and get back at 9. Right? Matter of fact, I'll start at 7. Back at 6. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. Though briars and thorns be with thee, and though does well against among scorpions, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. All right. So at the end of the day, when we preach this word, we're not worried about what these people think, man. All right, we're doing it for our own salvation and for those that believe. You see, and by bringing out the correct doctrine, all right, that sound doctrine of Yahawashi, this is Yahawah's doctrine. Okay, we literally, all right, are doing it for those to save our souls and those that believe. Okay, so it says, and though thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a most rebellious house. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. All right. And what is he talking about? He's talking about this truth, man. This knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. Eat the whole book. Eat the whole roll. Okay. Which is the volume of the book, which is Yahawashi. Okay. Doesn't say just be a Old Testament Hebrew Israelite, or just be a New Covenant, New Testament Hebrew Israelite. Okay. Doesn't say go into all these different religions. All right. Eat this book that the Lord has gave you, man. All right. That's why it's been here so many years, so many generations. And all they try to do is just rewrite it, take it away, burn it away. But it's still here because it's a divine power. You see? So it says, and when I looked, behold, and hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein Lamentations, Mournings, and Woes. Okay? See, that's why you have to count the cost of what you're getting involved with when you come into this truth. Okay? Because there's nothing but Lamentations, Mournings, and Woes here, man. This thing is a bittersweet thing. It's sweet in the beginning, all right? It's real sweet in the beginning when you find out who you are. You know, you're all of a sudden you're a Hebrew Israelite and you understand it. Wow, beautiful, all right? But what did the Lord say? When thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You see? So when you come into this truth, you have to prepare your soul for the bitterness. You see, that's what the temptation is the bitterness of this truth. Okay? Matter of fact, let's grab that. This is Ecclesiasticus All right. Ecclesiastes 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord YAHWAH'S, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. And make not haste in the time of trouble. You see? And things is going to get rough, man, but you can't run away from it. You see? See, when you worshiping all these other philosophies, all these different religions, right? They're not preparing you for the battle, okay? They're not preparing you for any of that. You see? Continuing on. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. See, when you don't quit, all right, and you keep believing in Yahweh Ba'Shem YAHWAH'S, right, and his sound doctrine, right, what ends up happening, man, you are increased through the spirit and power of the Lord, man, okay? The Lord is the one that's always constantly giving you the increase, man, all right? Now, he'll use the men to open your mind to it, but going back to what I said before, once you're old enough to not be held by a hand, all right, you have to have the spirit of discernment on your own time, man, okay? You have to have your own spirit of discernment to discern these things before you. You don't need nobody to hold your hand no more, man, because you have to fight the battle yourself, man, all right? As a matter of fact, the Lord said what? This is 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. This is 2nd Ezra 7 and take it from 7. Oh, hold on. Hey, that should stop. There you go. This is 7 and 7 in 2nd Ezra's. And it says, the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and only one path between them both. You see, a one only path between both of them. You see, it says, even between the fire and the water, so small that could but one man go there at once. You see, because you have to what? You have to work out your own salvation, man. When you get this truth, once you are opened up to it, right? Once you've learned enough, all right, now you're really on your own, man. All right. Now, can you continue to listen to brothers that have opened you up to it? Absolutely, because that's what keeps you steady. All right, because through the experience of brothers of what they've gone through, okay, you know, experience brings that patience, man. That patience brings also experience. You know, the sufferings that we go through, we're able to give these testimonies and teach you how to handle certain, you know, things. But even when we're speaking those things, it's of Yahweh Ba'Shem YAHWAH'S. You see, he's still using that man as a vessel, all right, to teach you how to handle these things, all right. But as you continue to grow, all right, you got to learn how to handle it on your own, all right. Because then if you still getting your hand held, that means that you're not growing. You see, that means you're stagnant, okay. And if you really need that true help, okay, who are you supposed to go to? Your father. And who's your father? Yahweh Ba'Shem YAHWAH'S. You see, they're both considered as fathers. You see, not man, not putting your trust in man, all right, not leaning to your own understanding, all right, but leaning to Yahweh Ba'Shem YAHWAH'S at all times, okay. So going back, it says the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, a one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he shall never pass the danger set before it, you see, you got to go through the dangers on your own. You see, you got to go through the experience on your own. That's the greatest part about it. The hard part about it, you see, because the hard part about it, right, is what makes you grow. If it was that easy, everybody would just be there already. We all be in the kingdom already, man. but it's not. That's why, because the Lord is a balance, right? Like we just read. So that's why you have good set against evil. So you got men that, people that gonna make it, and people that are not. The perfect balance. You have to be tried in the fire. You have to be tried in this truth to see if you're worthy of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, if you're worthy of salvation. Okay? Matter of fact, it tells you that in, you hold these scriptures real quick. This is Luke 21:34. Right? And it says to take heed to yourselves. You see? Take heed to yourself. Lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, so that that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all of them that dwell upon the face of the whole earth. And that snare gonna be that RFID, right? Watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. You see? So at the end of the day, it's about you putting in the time with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah to see if you're worthy. You have to fight the battle. You have to fight the condition of the battle. All right? Let me grab that real quick. The condition of the battle, KJV. This is 2nd Ezra 7:57. All right. As a matter of fact, let me take it from. Let's take it from this, right? Let's take it from this, and it says, and that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places. Okay? Yeah, because this truth is, man, it's very unpleasant to you. It's very bitter to you. You see? It says, and the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death, showing you that it's reincarnation. You see? So when you're put on this earth, man, you're actually made to suffer in the name of Yahweh Shai for you to enter into the kingdom. Through much tribulation, you shall enter into the kingdom, it says, right? So it says, for while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Okay? Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. All right? And that's the condition of the battle for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You see? She's a demon trying to creep over here. She's that lady I had the whole thing with the last time I was over here. Spirit is calm right now, though. Right? So it says, then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. All right? And that goes for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You see? Because these other people, right? These other nations, the Lord not dealing with them. He count them as spittle. Okay? He literally count them as spittle. So what condition of the battle they gonna fight? If they're gonna always be heathens and they're always just gonna be, they're always gonna live to die at the end of the day. There ain't no salvation for them. There ain't nothing great for them. The only thing that's gonna be great for them that they're gonna be under the rulership of Yahweh Shai. So the earth is gonna be in complete righteousness. You see? But they still gonna have to serve in captivity, man. And then after that, they go back to their rightful lands, and they still gonna have to serve Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai under the law, statutes, and commandments, the same way that we do right here. They're gonna have to abide by those rules. You see? So it says that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. Okay? For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life that thou mayest live. Okay? So in order for you to live, all right, you have to go through the condition of the battle. See, you're not alive because you walking around right now and your heart pumping. Man, you walking around in a vile ass body. Okay, you're walking around when you're born into sin. The moment you come out of your mom's womb, man, you are born into sin. What's so great about that? You see, that's why you're not supposed to celebrate birthdays and shit like that, man. Because what's so great about coming into this world? You're under sin. You're in captivity. Okay, so you're not supposed to be celebrating your birthday. Your Job said, why did you not take my spirit from the womb? He'd rather be in the spirit world than to be down here, man, on this vain ass earth. All right. All right. So continuing on. All right. Back in Luke 22 and 36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. YAHAWAH'S. You see? So going back to 2nd Ezra 7 and 7. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, a one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he shall never pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? You see, you have to go through the suffering to actually receive it, man. To receive the benefits of YAHAWAH'S. In order for YAHAWAH'S to be able to give us this comforter, to be on the right hand, waiting on the right hand side of the Lord, all right, he had to go through what he went through, man. He had to make up for what he did wrong. You see, going into different reincarnations. You see, he came back perfect as YAHAWAH'S. You see, but he had to go and die on that cross for his sins first, and then the people's sins. You see, so it says, and I said, it is so, Lord, YAHAWAH'S. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. You see? So everything that's around here is what? Lamentations, mournings, and woes, man. There ain't nothing sweet about living in America. Ain't nothing sweet, all right, what's bitter. America goes back to being bitter. The word bitter. You see? So everything around us is a bitter truth, man. That's why the scriptures say with much wisdom comes much grief. With much knowledge comes sorrow. Ooh, caught that right on time. Why do y'all about YAHAWAH'S? Because I ain't even got my tape, so that would have fell. Right? So, continuing on, it says, then were the entrances at 7 and 12 in 2nd Ezra. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. Okay? And see, how did the Lord say that we will come out of these perils, man? All right? This is 2nd Ezra 9 and 8. 9 and 8. And it says, actually 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Okay? Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. You see? So the ones that believe, the ones that did the work, all right, the ones that had the faith, okay, those are the ones that are going to be saved from the said perils. But those that didn't, all right, this is what's coming to them. All right, it says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. They have, they have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it by death and pain. You see? So because you just ignored the prophets, all right, which again ain't even about ignoring the prophets, you really ignored YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S, man. You see? That's why at the end of the day, you think that you're hurting our feelings, man. That's why that scripture said not to worry about, all right, back in, let me grab it real quick. All right. In Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter. All right. The Lord said what? In 6, he said, thou son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. You see? Not worrying about them. The Lord said in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, fear not the incredulity of them, all right, that trouble thee, all right, because all unfaithful gonna die in their unfaithfulness, man. So whether you hear or forbear, man, the word still got to go out. The Lord still gonna speak. You know, the Lord is still gonna require that which is past. You see, you're not gonna change my mind, all right. I mean, you're not gonna change the Lord's mind, all right. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, okay. I got a job to do. You see, I'll look stupid out here for YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S. But you know what? Lord willing, he give me that last laugh with him. You know, at the end of the day, when these niggas is dropping like flies. You see? So we're not gonna fear the incredulity of them that have something to say. Or, you know, they want to make us look like we some criminals. Or even as far as you know, say Shaitan, physical counter Shaitan, Esau, right? Gonna come with the persecution, all of that. He gonna make us look bad on TV. He trying to make us look bad now. Trying to make us look like we terrorists, all that. We can care less. Bring it on. Do what you gotta do. So we can get the hell up out of here. You see? I don't know what's taking them so damn long. You see, but it's all on YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S time. All right. So going back. All right, they're gonna have to learn about death and pain. All right. Back to 7 and 12 and 2nd Ezra. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure. All right, by that sure foundation of who? YAHAWAH'S, man. By the sure mercies of King David, man. All right. It says, for the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure and brought immortal fruits. Okay, and that's what we want. We want immortality. Okay. It says, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. You see? See, we're trying to enter into true rest, man. But if you don't do the work of the Lord, all right, to the best of your ability, man, there's no rest for you, man. All right, the Lord has to destroy you on this side. Then even when you go to the kingdom, because you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are 2/3, you're gonna make the kingdom at one point, you see? But you're not even gonna have that true rest yet, because you're still gonna have to walk around with your head down, man. You see? The ones that are gonna get true rest is the ones that put in that work on this side. The ones that suffer for YAHAWAH'S, man. That's when you're gonna get true rest. You can try to sleep 12 hours all you want over here. That shit ain't gonna be a good rest. Your ass will wake up overtired, man. That ain't true rest. You see? You try to sleep on this side, you toss and turn every day. You got demons plaguing you in your damn mind while you sleep. You know, you got to worry about waking up and going to work the next damn day. You can't even enjoy your weekend off when you ain't got no work on the weekend, because by the time you look at the weekend, it's back to work. So what rest are you getting on this side, man? Nothing. But see, we do the work of the Lord to enter into that rest, to actually have peace, because that's the only peace and kind of the rest that you have on this side, man. Because you're constantly resting in the Lord. You see, you're casting your burdens upon the Lord, and the Lord sustains you for a period of time. You know, He doesn't just sustain you and that's it. You're sustained for the rest of your days. Nah, you have to go through the condition of the battle. The Lord makes it hard for you because He wants to hear you constantly call upon His name, constantly making supplication. All right, begging Him to get the hell up out of here, begging Him for some real rest. Okay, continually crying out to the Lord. All right, that's what it tells you in. Let's grab that real quick. 2nd Ezra 15 and I'll take it from 5. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord YAHAWAH'S, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." That's Lamentations, Mournings, and Woes right there. Right? "Therefore saith Salakia, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord YAHAWAH'S, I will hold my tongue no more, as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent in righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." You see, that's what the Lord wants to hear. He wants to hear you constantly complaining unto Him, man. Okay, it says, "And therefore saith the Lord YAHAWAH'S, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt," but that's America. "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And that's why the Lord is about to destroy this place, man, for our sakes. You see? Because the world was created for our sakes, because we're constantly crying out to the Lord. All right? And let me rephrase that, not even for our sakes, for YAHAWAH'S sake. Okay? Because He wants His Son to come back and rule this place in righteousness the way He had predestinated it to be. You see? But before that happened, we had to all suffer out in this place, man. We had to learn something. We had to learn wickedness, right? For us to enjoy that righteousness when it came. Okay? So going back to Ecclesiasticus 2:1. "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, YAHAWAH'S, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto Him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." You know, and we're going to be brought to a lower state, man. We're going to be brought all the way to the bottom of society, man, where we're going to be actually hated by all men for YAHAWAH'S sake. You see, we're going to be persecuted. Some of us going to be martyred. Some of us going to be beheaded. Okay? But we're still going to believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem YAHAWAH'S all the way to the end. As the scripture says, strive for the truth until death. Okay? Even if it requires death. Okay? You die in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem YAHAWAH'S. Okay? Look at the account in the second Maccabees in the 15th chapter. Okay? I mean, Salakia, is it the 15th chapter? No, it's the 7th chapter. You had the mother and her 7 sons, man. They all had to die in the name of YAHAWAH'S, man, by having understanding. Okay? Matter of fact, let me grab that. Second Maccabees 7. Kind of a long chapter. It's all good. We're gonna bring it out, right? Because it is a point to it, you see? Because they all had to suffer for them to receive the benefits of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And they were worthy to receive those benefits. You see? So it says, and it came to pass also that the 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh. Okay. And see here they were being made to taste swine's flesh, basically eat pork, you see. But look at it in a spiritual sense, man. We're sitting here in this filthy ass, abominated ass place, man, this abominated land that pretty much the swine's flesh could be a representation of just all the filthiness and abominated things on this planet Earth, man. You see, we're constantly in a battle, the war against the spirit against the flesh. All right, basically trying to make us go off. All right, to do the filthy and abominated things that the Lord has commanded us not to do here in this earth, man. You see, by constantly sinning. All right, it says, again by and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. Yeah, we're constantly tormented and scourged, all right, by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's whips. Okay, you see, by all the trials and tribulations, you know, if you want to spiritually consider that as scourges and whips, all right, scourges and torments, all right, because through much tribulation you're gonna enter into the kingdom. All right, so we're constantly being what? Chastised here by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, to show that we are the children of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because it's the spirit that bears witness, man. The sufferings we go through is what bears the witness of the Lord, man, that we are of the Lord. Right, and it says, but one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die. See, and that's what we are, ready to die in this place, man. It says, rather than want to transgress the laws of our fathers. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Okay, and see, and if we come and we speak that out into existence, saying that we're ready to die for Yahweh Shai Hamashiach's sake, man, well, the Lord gonna turn up the fire, the furnace of adversity upon you. You see, to try you to see if you're gold, to see if you're worthy, all right, to make that kingdom, right? It says, then the king being enraged, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith, being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, the Lord Yahweh Shai looketh upon us, and in truth has comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which declared, saying, he shall be comforted in his servants. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to him, a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? See, so now now the first one died, all right, got dismembered, tongue cut off, got chopped to pieces, right, fried in the frying pan. Now the second got scalped, skin taken off. You see, this is the trials and tribulations we go through, being persecuted for Yahweh Shai's sake, man, to be tested. Okay, every unfortunate situation is the test of your faith, man. Right? It says, but he answered in his own language, all right, which that language was Hebrew, and said, no. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Though like a fury take us out, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. After him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I had from heaven, and from his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. And so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said this: it is good being put to death by men, to look for the hope from Yahweh, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou dost well, thou dost what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahweh, but abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. See, these brothers had mad knowledge of the Lord, man. They were ready to die because they understood reincarnation. They understood and took it manfully, all right, because they knew that they had to come to this place and suffer, man, just like us. You see, we understand now that we have to come here and suffer, right? For the sins that we committed before the sight of the Lord. That's why we have hopes, all right? And we pray to the Lord that he blot out all our transgressions, okay? So everything, that's why the scriptures tell you in Micah, let me grab that real quick. This is Micah 7 and 10, 9, right? And it says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. For he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. You see? So we have to bear the indignation of the Lord, all right? Because he was wroth with us to begin with for going off. You see? Condition of the battle. Right? So going back to Maccabees 7 and 1 second. 14. So when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good being put to death by men, to look for hope from Yahweh, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection of life. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahweh. But abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us, but think not thou that takest in hand to strive against Yahweh, that thou shalt escape unpunished. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope of that she had in the Lord Yahawashi. Yeah, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but doubtless the creator, the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake, Salakia, for his law's sake. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspected it to be a reproachful speech, while the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him by oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him from his friend and trust him with affairs. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. Right? But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner: O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech you, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that Yahweh made them Yahweh made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy, and that's why the scriptures say, fear not him that could kill the body, all right, but fear him that could kill the body and the soul. You see, because man can't do nothing onto you, man. At the end of the day, whatever man does onto you is what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has really done onto you. You see, because everybody is used, all right, as a vessel, all right. Even when the wicked do things, man, the Lord's using him as a vessel to do wicked things. You see, to put us to test. You know, he uses them as a rod of correction. Okay, so it says, Yahweh made them of things that were not, and so were mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, Whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of Yahweh. For we suffer because of our sins. And though the living Lord Yahweh shall be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. But thou, O godless man, and of all the other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of Yahweh. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty Power, who seeth all things. For our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under Yahweh's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of Yahweh, shalt receive just punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Yahweh that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou, by torments and plagues, mayest confess that he alone is Yahweh, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly but brought upon all our nation, may cease. Then the king, being enraged, handled him the worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in Yahweh Shai. Last of all, after the son, the mother died. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast and the extreme tortures, man. You see? So everything that you just heard there, all right, is almost a representation of what we go through here, man. And we're all ready to die for Yahweh Shai's sake, man. So by you being ready to die for Yahawah's sake, right? When you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, man. Prepare for these things, persecution, for death to come upon you. Why? Because it is a righteous thing, you see, because of the things that we've done, the things that we sinned before our power. So we have to suffer, man, in order for us to receive that kingdom, man, receive that good tidings, you see. And I pretty much, you know what? I'll end it with this. All right. So I got to wrap it up. All right. So this is Ecclesiasticus 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord Yahawah, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord Yahawah, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord Yahawah, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord Yahawah, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord Yahawah and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord Yahawah is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction. Woe be to the faithful hearts and faint hands, and sinners that go in two ways. Woe unto them that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord Yahawah shall visit you? You see? So, hey, man, Lord willing, it was edifying. All right, remember, man, we have to suffer in this place, man, for us to make it into that kingdom, okay? It's all about Yahawah at the end of the day, man, okay? These are the things that we have to go through, man, in order for us to be saved, and for us to have that rest and enter into that rest that the Lord has promised us, man. Because the rest that you look for here, that you seek for here, man, it's not true rest, man. All right? Everything here is defiled. All right? The Lord said in Micah 2:10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. All right? It will destroy you with a sore destruction, man. This place destroys you. The more you stay in this place, man, you're destroyed day by day, more and more. You see, that's why with much wisdom comes much grief, man, and much sorrow. So, hey, Lord willing that you were edified. So, with that being said, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawah, call Elohim La Yahawah, Bahashim Yahawah, Bahashim, Qadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom, keep fighting the good fight of faith, and doing as good soldiers of Yahawah. All right? The water sister, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Barakatah.